Really honored to be here. I'm Gary Gold. I'm the chairman of the Department of Radiology and an imaging researcher, and I have the pleasure of co-directing the Alliance at Stanford with Scott Delp. For those of you who are wondering if you're in the right place, last night I took my 18-year-old son, who's a high school senior, to the reception. He's my size, so he borrows all of my stuff. He was wearing the Human Performance Alliance jacket. And I said, "Oh, Evan, you're wearing the Human Performance Alliance jacket." And he said, "Yeah, Dad, it's a lot cooler than all the radiology stuff." So definitely in the right place here. I am really honored to introduce Kathryn Moeller, who is the Vice Provost and Dean of Research, the Marvin Chodorow Professor and Professor of Applied Physics and Engineering Science and Engineering at Stanford University. And I want to highlight especially the vital role that Cam played and her vision in taking what was Clara's vision and the vision of the group that Clara assembled and turning it into this amazing multi-institution effort that we have today. Cam, you've been a wonderful partner for all of us throughout, and Cam is going to speak this morning about the power of collaborative research and team science. Cam.
Thank you, Gary, for that super kind introduction. It's really an honor to be here, and I would like to welcome all of you on behalf of everybody at Stanford. Say welcome to Stanford for the first, not the last, but the first scientific symposium of the Tsai Human Performance Alliance. This is an amazing event for us, and just being here and hearing a few of the lightning talks and feeling the energy in the room, I'm really honored and humbled to be here and to think about all of the great research that y'all are doing. I want to thank the symposium organizers too and express gratitude for the commitment of everyone who did a lot of work to convene this really, really important meeting. I think Gary gave me way too much credit about the formation of the Alliance here, but it was an incredible privilege and wonderful to work with Clara and Tom and Scott and everyone on the team as we formulated the effort that became the Tsai Human Performance Alliance. It's a unique and valuable structure, and what I want to do today is not only thank you for your work on human performance, but also to help you understand why, as a university leader and administrator, I see what you all are doing is such an important part of determining what university should look like now in the 21st century as we all turn our attention to the amazing opportunities and the very concerning problems that modern researchers not just have a responsibility to work on, but really, in my experience, want to work on. The Alliance is a unique and valuable structure. It enables collaboration at Stanford and across partner institutions, and the public-private partnership makes for a powerful alliance that I hope will be a model for many other research initiatives on important topics in the future. So when Scott first told me about the Alliance, I absolutely loved the idea for both of these reasons. First of all, the chance to support team science and cross-school, cross-university collaborations is a big part of why I have taken time away from my own lab and teaching to serve as Dean of Research, because I believe in this kind of structure. The second thing, of course, as you all know, is that the intersection of health and human performance is an important research focus for everybody. Human performance matters for everybody, from professional athletes to our first responders, student athletes, or the avid hiker, swimmer, or cyclist, and people who hope to continue doing that. Actually, Professor Gold wrote to me yesterday to ask what sports I played when I was young. I'll confess it was kind of one season of softball, and I was the person who was out in right field, and mostly dropping balls on the rare occasions that they came to me, but I will never forget that feeling as a middle schooler of doing something right and catching the ball, and how happy I was and how happy all of my teammates were for me that I had actually caught a ball. So in that sense, I might not seem like the primary customer for the output of a research entity called the Human Performance Alliance. On the other hand, I love to hike. I love to backpack. Some people want to die in their beds. I want to die in the mountain. And Scott, I'm looking to you and your entire team, Scott and Gary, I'm looking to this entire room full of people to keep me in the mountains until that day comes. So I want to say a little bit more about your team and the WuSci Human Performance Alliance, but first let me say a little bit more to set the stage for what I believe needs to be the evolution of our national and our global research universities in the 21st century. Let's step way, way back. Universities conduct research for 3 reasons: to contribute to society, to understand the world, and to educate student researchers. Society often holds the view of the scholar as a solitary and singular genius. Even to this day, that's a common stereotype. But in reality, scholars today participate in a highly collaborative, worldwide search for shared understandings that stand the test of time and the scrutiny of others. The problems in the 21st century demand not just solitary acts of genius, or not often even solitary acts of genius, but efforts by teams of researchers who have resources at scale, access to laboratories and equipment, compute resources, and expert staffing. The greatest opportunities for scholarship need both the resources needed to address them and the team formation and the team of people who can do it together. William Bowen, the former president of Princeton University, once said, quote, "The right model of shared governance going forward is not who owns what, but how all parties can work together most effectively." So I see what y'all are doing as an experiment and as a model for how to do team science on important problems going forward for the world. Back specifically to the WuSci Human Performance Alliance, it's critical to conduct research that integrates science and engineering with the daily practice that athletes and all people can use to improve our health and well-being. I say our health and well-being, although as I said, I'm not that much of an athlete. This kind of alliance has never been done before at Stanford, even though Stanford is known internationally as an innovator in interdisciplinary research. So I want to say thank you, a huge thank you to everyone in this room, to all of the like-minded partners who joined together to make progress on a visionary collective research agenda. Today, your research is already capturing the world's attention, as the diversity of your research portfolio brings new knowledge and transformative innovations that benefit society. So thank you. I also want to give a shout out to some of the partner entities here at Stanford, where the Alliance supports cross-disciplinary research endeavors that intersect with key university initiatives, including Human-Centered Artificial Intelligence, HAI, Innovative Medicines Accelerator, our shared research platforms, and our many programs of focused research in interdisciplinary life sciences, medicine, and athletics. Like our other interdisciplinary life science programs, the creation of the WuSci Human Performance Alliance was launched under the university-wide office of me, the Vice Provost and Dean of Research, to make it possible for the Alliance to maximally leverage the fluidity of the university structure to encourage interaction across schools, institutes, centers, and labs. Just as an example, the collaboration between the Digital Athlete Moonshot, the Human Performance Lab, as a campus-wide shared research facility, and athletics is a new and unique collaboration that's been enabled by the Human Performance Alliance. It enables new experiments that individual investigators would otherwise not be able to take on. I like to think of a world, when I was a graduate student, it was pretty well understood that every graduate student works for a specific mentor, for a specific professor. And generally speaking, the work of the graduate students would be to some extent constrained by the vision, the grants, and the resources of their PI. One of the things that's so powerful and so exciting to me about alliances like this, the collaborations that they bring, the governance structures that they bring, the shared resources that they bring, is that I believe that every student, every early career researcher, their work should only be bounded by the limits of their own creativity and not by who they work for or who their advisor knows that can help them get access to the equipment that they need. And this alliance is a powerful, powerful experiment in making that kind of experience possible. I also want to point out that the alliance offers a powerful platform to advance ideas using research produced by the 6 institutions and the global partner of UNESCO to make these discoveries available to the world. I think that's incredibly important. I'm excited to watch you all doing what you do as this unfolds. I really ask you to maximize the alliance's fluid structure to foster flexibility and harmonization and alignment between faculty, researchers, students, and staff so that novel ideas can flourish for the benefit of the world. This is the definition of team science, and you are a model to watch and emulate. So I hope you all have a great time at the symposium today, and I'm happy to take questions on any topic at all. Thank you.
Hi, Sam Ward from UCSD. I love the vision. I'm just trying to get my arms around what are some sort of futuristic ways that you think that can be implemented for faculty. For example, faculty are evaluated individually. Is there a model where a faculty can be evaluated as units that function together? Or other tools that you can think of that might help incentivize group work on campus?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and I think that's a great idea. We do actually have a number of faculty groups who have brought that up themselves, and I think you can work with I don't know what level what position you have at UC San Diego, but assuming that you are a professor at UC San Diego and that you want to help make changes, I would say chatting with other professors and then chatting with the people who run the faculty appointments and promotions process is a great way to move that forward. So here at Stanford, we've had, there have been a number of cases in different parts of the university where faculty have raised this issue, and sometimes just really small things make a difference. One example is in one institute, there was a field where it's increasingly common to write large collaborative papers. And we had a rule that people who had been on a collaborative paper with someone couldn't be a referee for their promotion. Right? So it was fairly straightforward to just waive that rule because otherwise this poor person had basically published co-authored papers with every important person in their field, and we couldn't have put together a decent referee set for them. So that's an example of the kind of thing that can make a difference. Other people are looking at and talking about rubrics. Maybe not evaluate the faculty for promotion as a team. I haven't heard that one before, although I would be open to discussing it. But maybe some kind of hybrid model that includes both some measures of the individual contributions to the extent they can be identified and really puts an emphasis on the team science. I think the WUSI Human Performance Alliance is such a great place to do that because I imagine that there are many people in the Alliance who understand team sports and have thought a lot about how you actually evaluate the performance of athletes in the context of what matters is whether or not their team wins. So I think that there must be ways to look at the question of, is this student, researcher, postdoc professor someone who raises the level of everyone around them? So I want to really encourage you to think about that. Yeah.
Thank you. One more quick question.
So it's never happened to me before. I had the exact same question, but I'm not going to walk away. But as an Associate Dean of Faculty Affairs, convincing faculty to pursue team science, potentially to their detriment, is really difficult. And recruiting faculty members and saying the expectation is that you're a team player in science is also could be difficult and to their detriment. And so I found your talk really inspirational, but also how do I go back to faculty at a Big Ten university and say, you're going to have to do this. This is the way the world is going, that collaboration is necessary, and how my role is to get external letter writers to really notice that this is innovative. And how do I do that? How do I get external letter writers to see the contribution to the team that the faculty member has made. And so when I think about people even in this room, many of whom are going to pursue faculty positions, who are going to be recruited by Research One institutions, but this is the work we need to do. How do we enhance, increase, expand the vision of everyone involved so that the science can go forward?
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I would say you asking the question is absolutely the way to start, right? And I would just, everything that you just said, I just want to make one shift. Instead of go back and tell the faculty that this is how it has to happen, go back and ask the faculty, what are the benefits of the way that they've been doing it, and what might be the benefits of doing it this way, right? And I don't want to make more work for anybody in this room, but again, you know, the Tsai Human Performance Alliance is about human performance, but it is also a really nice experiment in how to run universities in the 21st century. So it's possible that there might be some people who might be willing to convene some kind of working group about this, or it's possible that the schools who are involved in the alliance there might be some coming together of leadership so we could all discuss these issues together. You know, let me know how I can help.
Thank you.
Yeah. And now we really are holding people back from lunch, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Gail.